Where in the Folk is not and should not be viewed as a news source. Any names, places, or likenesses mentioned are purely fictional, and any information discussed is purely speculative. Guest opinions are their own and do not reflect those of anyone else. Where in the Folk is not responsible for content accuracy of any stories that are told or what people do with these stories. This show is vulgar, sometimes graphic, and due to its content, it should not be viewed by anyone actually.
Welcome to another episode of Where in the Folk. How's everybody been this week?
Good. How about
It's been a week.
I found out that there was an invention that's changed everybody's life that was created in Kentucky. Do you know what it is?
Chicken?
It's toothpaste. Toothpaste was invented in Kentucky because if it was invented anywhere else, it'd be called teeth paste. But
That's fair. That's fair. Dude, mouth is a real thing.
But anyway,
this is why I look forward to Friday nights.
Hey, Mike. Hey, Steven. Welcome to the show.
Hey, everybody.
So
it's been an okay week. It's just been kind of long.
Yeah. It's been long for sure. And what's so crazy is most of us are looking at a 3-day weekend, if you're lucky. And next week's going to be even longer. And it's going to be a short week. Guarantee it.
Right.
I went out looking for an alleged ghost woman today. I didn't find her.
Yeah.
No, that sucks.
If you would have found her, you'd be like, hey, you care to hold this camera and get a good shot of me?
Yeah. And instead, I was just sending Cecil like funny grave names. Like I know that's morbid, but somebody left a Google review on this graveyard and left a 1 rating and said, I left a 1 rating because I keep seeing a woman darting behind tombstone, and when I go to look, she's not there, and I think this place is possessed.
Sweet.
So I'm like, okay, let's go check it out. And it was one of the most tightly packed graveyards I've ever seen. First and foremost, just solid rows. They were maybe like 4 inches apart.
Wow.
And it was a Catholic graveyard, and all around the graveyard were $1 million houses.
Wow.
Like surrounding it.
I don't like neighbors in life. I don't want neighbors in death either. Like,
dude,
death is kind of how you escape some of these people.
The entrance. So imagine you buy your $2 million house at the end of the cul-de-sac, like you've made it.
Yeah.
You've got a 4-car garage, you've got basketball court, you've got all of these amenities. And right next to your driveway is the entrance to this graveyard, and there's graves in your backyard.
That'd actually be kind of cool. I'd do my own cribs, be like, this is where the magic happens, and here's the graveyard.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty cool.
It'd be like that. Go ahead.
I was going to say, people like us would go, ooh, because my dad's aunt and uncle lived next door to a graveyard, and as kids, we had a blast over there. But if I'm buying a $2 million home, I'm scouting it out before I move there. So you have to think they must really like stuff like that.
If I have the money to buy a $2 million home, I'm just going to make my own graveyard. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
My brother-in-law did. When his wife passed away, they had part of the front yard designated as a family cemetery, and that's where they're all buried at.
No,
He'd
I'll
go
tell
out
you,
every morning and have coffee with Alice.
like, I think part of having too much money are these people that make the like 50, 80 foot tall monuments.
Uh-huh.
I think that's like too much money, final boss level. There's a guy that built, I wish I could share a picture of it. A guy that was the CEO of a company named Griffin Industries. The only reason I know that is because it gives a biopic on the on the monument. But so it's a 50-foot tall red obelisk, and it has room for, let's say, 9 bodies within the base of the monument.
Nice.
That's where his casket is. And the monument sits on a concrete base, like a massive concrete base. And there's like pre-made graves all around. There's probably like 10 or 12 of those. They've all got a griffin carved into them, red like granite. And then around that is like a moat of black rock. And then around that are these massive boulders.
On my gravestone, I just want to say Cecil took 26,895 poops in his life. And just be and people be like, why the hell is that there?
So somebody actually put when I was looking at the little say like the epitaphs, I guess.
Yeah.
Someone actually used the phrase from 1408. Someone literally put on their grave, as I am, so you shall be. And I'm like, well, that's great. The best one I've seen said, see you next Tuesday. Like the letter C and then U and then next Tuesday. That's probably my favorite one so far.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I
Well,
want something fun, but I'm being cremated, so.
well, let's get into the news, shall we? I want to start with one that Tolly told me about earlier this week that really hit home. And
I
has
don't
me.
even know what you're about to say.
No, this ain't funny or nothing. So in Tempe, Arizona, a 60-year-old office worker was found deceased in their cubicle 4 days after they originally badged in. And when he sent me that, I see my life flash before my eyes. I was like, "This is going to be me." Like,
if that's not the epitome of corporate hell that we've all lived through,
yeah,
this lady died in her cubicle at a bank, and they didn't find her for 4 days.
she badged in on Tuesday, August 20th. Tempe police said she had scanned into the building. No, she had scanned in on the building on Friday, August 16th at 7 a.m. There was no indication that she ever scanned out of the building. And she worked in what they're saying is an unpopulated area of the building. I'm sure they are. Like at this point, like, oh, nobody ever goes over there. You know, like,
Yeah. I guess that's all the collaboration they're talking about with pulling people back into the office.
yeah,
But make sure your coworker ain't dead.
yeah. But
Right.
they found her 4 days later. I mean, with all due respect, it was the weekend. Yeah.
Well, here's the thing though. Did they find her at 8 a.m. on Monday, or was it 4 o'clock when they were starting out?
She started stinking.
Yeah.
Wow.
She was pronounced deceased at 4:55 p.m. on
Hey, Landa.
So,
Hey, Landa.
so
So yeah, she was there all day. And
have you watched that show Tires, the new Shane Gillis thing on Netflix?
No.
Well, there's a spoiler alert. There's a guy that's working on their car that passes away in that show, and they just kind of talk to him like trash all day. They're like, "God, you're such a worthless piece of shit," like shit like that. And then they come to find out he's dead. I wonder how many people's like, "Hey, Janice is being mean today. She ain't talking to nobody." Like, you know what I mean?
God.
When you sent me that, my life literally flashed before my eyes. I was like, "This is totally going to be me. I'm going to die in a cubicle someday."
Morgana, did you find like an actual funny? Because I didn't have a good funny.
I did, and to me it was hilarious because I mean I'm listening to the news. I usually listen to books in the morning, but for whatever reason I was listening to music in the news last week. And a high school football coach in Laredo, Texas, was arrested after he allegedly called the police to report a prostitute had stolen money from him.
I mean, who else are you going to call when you get robbed?
So here, it
Okay,
gets
though.
way better. So,
How-
according to authorities, Rolando Ramos called the police to report a theft on August 19th. After they arrived at the scene of the crime, authorities said they discovered he was attempting to pay a prostitute for sexual services, and she took $100 and ran away. That $100 cost him $2,500 in bond and his job. He is
It's
currently
okay.
on unpaid leave.
So if I call the police and I'm like, there's a prostitute that took my money, how can they prove anything unless the prostitute was like an actual agent of the law? How could they prove without a shadow of a doubt that any of that's even real? Like, how's that going to stick on him in court?
Well, it says, while he was attempting to pay her, so I'm assuming he told them.
Even if you did tell them, like, what, it's not like she's going to show up in court and be like, yeah, I'm the prostitute.
Actually, they found her. And she denied the allegations.
Of course.
So
Yes.
what do they have? You know what I mean? If she's denying it, and
His word that I tried to pay her and she took my money.
This actually hits really close to home too.
well,
Well, you know this story quite well. As it's been established over the years, I was kind of wild when I was younger, 15 years ago or whatever. I've calmed down a lot, but at one point in time, we had a work function where I drank way too much, and one of my friends decided it was time to go to a strip club. So we proceeded to go to a strip club and do what you do when you go to a strip club. And when I went to cash out, I realized they had charged a bunch of drinks to my ticket that I hadn't paid for, that I didn't ask for. And I said, "What are these?" And they said, "Oh, these are the drinks you bought for the girls." So I proceeded to throw what would be known as a tantrum, taking things off the bar, throwing it against the wall, breaking stuff. Then I called the cops and said that they were trying to rob me at the strip club.
Okay, you were young and stupid, so I can give you a pass on that. But this guy looks like he's at least in his 40s.
Yeah, but
I mean, maybe he. I don't know. I just don't know how they can stick him with that in court. Even if he was, if there's no evidence, like usually they set up stings for that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So that there's actual transactions.
Right. Well, later in the week, the school actually released a statement saying that he was immediately placed on administrative leave and that disciplinary action is pending the outcome of a local law enforcement investigation.
Nice.
Jesus.
Well, I have one that could be considered funny. I have one that is kind of funny, but kind of deranged at the same time. You guys want to hear one?
Yeah.
I'll go with the one that I think is funny. I think it's funny. So in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Philadelphia police responded to an unusual and rather awkward incident at the Schuylkill River early Wednesday morning. A vehicle parked on Kelly Drive made its way into the river near a Columbian Bridge around 4:45 a.m. So how did this happen, you may ask? The man and woman inside the vehicle were actively engaged in sexual activity when the vehicle rolled into the river.
There's worse ways to go.
Luckily, the man and woman both escaped safely with no injuries. The vehicle, believed to be a land or Range Rover, was pulled from the river around 9 a.m. They actually got a picture. I'll just share the article. It's on Yahoo News if you want to go check it out. There's the getting pulled out. But
they survived though.
Oh yeah, they're good. They're good. But could you imagine that? Like,
crazy.
I'm going to tell you, and Tully and I, for a while there, we had this thing going to see which was worse, Kentucky or Mississippi, when it comes to stupid people.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the ones that I got was a couple was in an accident, ran into somebody's house, And when that happened, they were actively involved in giving one another oral sex while driving. Okay. And so when they had the accident, of course, the home, there you go. That's all, the only thing I could figure. And the homeowners called the police, and everything. It took them a little while to get her unattached from him.
Oh, wow.
And it gets better. One, they had, a crap load of meth in the car, which no big surprise there. But what's even better is they were first cousins, which is illegal in the state of Mississippi.
Oh no!
So I won that week, Tully.
Did they work for Circus Delay or something? Like,
No, they were just hicks from Brookhaven, Mississippi.
Were they gymnasts?
So on the topic of wrecking, or not really wrecking, but sinking, I threw a story in here this week that usually doesn't fit our MO, but there was something that struck me as weird about it, and I'm going to read it to you guys. So there was a family of 4 from Texas that was declared dead this week after their boat capsized on August 3rd. So they were just declared dead after a search. Their boat capsized during their Alaskan vacation. So the Coast Guard suspended the search for David and Mary Maynard and their sons Colton, who was 11, and Brantley, who was only 7. Their boat capsized on August 3rd during their vacation. The family was with 4 other people who were rescued from a life raft. The group had been on a 28-foot aluminum boat when it started to take on water, apparently around 7 p.m. near the city of Homer. Basically, here's what's weird about this. The scoop was that apparently this family was below deck when this occurred, and that's why they were unable to make it to the life raft, because the 4 of them were below deck. There were people above deck. The people above deck got on the boat. The Coast Guard could not find the bodies. So that's what is weird to me. If they were above deck and they were swept out to the ocean, how did they not make it on the lifeboats? Because everybody above deck made it, and they're saying they were below deck, but they're not on the boat.
Yeah.
I
mean, I guess wildlife, maybe. I don't know.
I mean, water flow's strange, Like, you could
swap
them out.
Of 4 people, they would have found one.
Yeah, that's what struck me weird about it, because the Coast Guard couldn't find anybody. And if they were stuck in the boat and unable to escape the boat, even when it was sinking,
my question,
they'd still be in there.
They did end up finding them, though, right?
No.
They haven't found them at all?
No, they just declared them dead and called off the search.
I mean, there's several ways to look at it. And first is that they passed away, and unfortunately, that's sad. If they were in Alaska, though, I mean, there's always a chance that, new life, if somebody might have been facing something, or
I don't know.
That's strange. I like to hear a follow-up on that.
Yeah, it just struck me as weird.
Yeah, maybe I'm an idiot, but I'm having trouble visualizing a 28-foot double-decker aluminum boat.
That's just,
where I'm from, an aluminum boat is called a John boat, and it's usually about 10 foot long and about this deep.
Well, I think.
Well, you've never been to Laurel County Woods Lake before.
Well, the Outdoor Boys YouTube channel, I see them in Alaska a lot, and they take these aluminum boats that have it has an outside part, but it has a sleeper in the front and like a hood for the rain and stuff.
Right.
So I think it was something like that.
Linda has a point.
Well, yeah, that's true too. It was just very strange.
Very unique. Very, very strange. I mean, the ocean's a strange place anyway, so anything can happen in the ocean.
True.
There's critters down there.
Yeah, there's people manning submarines with PlayStation controllers down there.
They're going to use an Xbox when they go out next
Yeah,
year.
it'd probably work better.
we had another big drinks recall.
I've seen that.
So far, just in 2024, there's been 30 beverages recalled for containing harmful ingredients that are not on the label. Some of the big ones, Fiji water had to recall almost 2 million bottles because of manganese and 3 tops of bacteria that was considered a class 3 health hazard. Which what they said that it was not likely to cause serious health consequences, but if that's the case, why did they recall 2 million bottles of it? Charles Bagini company sodas recall. It's pink and yellow lemonades that were recalled for undeclared red 40 and yellow 5, which have carcinogenic components and are illegal in other countries. God bless our FDA.
Not in America.
Martinelli's apple juice recalled 25,000 cases due to elevated levels of inorganic arsenic, which is great for kids. And then Infamil Nutramigen formula. Over 1 million cans of infant formula were recalled due to potential contamination of Chronobacter bacteria.
That one hits really hard on certain people because there wasn't it not too long ago there was a formula shortage anyway.
Absolutely. Yep.
That's crazy.
And apparently that bacteria poses major health risks to infants. And I just put in here because this has been kind of a topic of interest lately, but the FDA regularly tests these things, and you only hear about it on the underbelly if you go looking for these sort of articles and stuff. It's not being plastered all over the news. Like, this should be a huge issue.
Yeah.
Right. Because if there's a listeria outbreak, you hear about it.
Yes. And lately, there was a recent fact check that accidentally proved that they don't. I mean, probably why that they don't probe as much as they can. In a response to a recent claim that 50% of the FDA's budget comes from pharmaceutical companies,
Sweet.
The agency released an official statement denying that claim, saying that it was only 47%. And as you can imagine, they got torched in the comments, like absolutely torched. So our Food and Drug Administration, 47% of their budget comes from pharmaceutical companies.
That's like the saying, nobody can be 100% asshole.
Yeah.
Hold my beer.
So they definitely have paid interests like that. There's no doubt about that, and that I think that really needs to be changed. That's like R.J. Reynolds paying the majority of cancer donations.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh my god, it's so crazy. Like the people that control the things, the pharmaceutical industry should be fined billions upon billions of dollars for creating what they've done. Like as far as the opioid epidemic, everything. Like, why in America does it cost $500-600 to get EpiPen, and you can go to Canada or Mexico and get it for like $20?
Well, they've extrapolated that it costs less to get sued because they're making so much money from the drugs.
Yeah,
they make all this money from the drugs. The money that they're getting sued by is pennies compared to what they've made.
Oh, I always love it when they lead into, such and such is going to pay out $13 billion, but they're not admitting to any wrongdoing.
Yeah,
it's pocket change for these places.
Oh, it is. It is, but I'm sorry. When you agree to pay out billions of dollars, you're admitting, whether you say it out loud and proud or not. Just my opinion.
And all I want is 10 million. That's all I want.
Speaking of billionaires, there's been a lot going on in the space of social media this week. So the Telegram CEO landed in France, I think, for a holiday and got snatched up. He got snatched up by the police. And I mean, this is a really big article. There's a lot to it. But what it boils down to is the government of France is saying that basically after an investigation, and because he has not opened the back end of his platform up to all these other countries to enable whatever kind of censorship that they want to, they're going to arrest him. And they're basically running one of the charges is running a platform to enable illicit transactions by organized crime, which carries a sentence of 10 years.
Of course.
They did say that its moderation is within industry standards, and it's absurd to claim that a platform or its owner are responsible for abuse of that platform. I think there's something there, because if you remember, because one of the things that came up was child sex trafficking, and they're saying that Telegram's a big thing for that. But if you remember, Facebook got popped last year, I think it was, for Facebook groups dedicated to pedophile activity.
Well, the thing is, if you're not,
he's not in jail. You know what I mean? He's not pending charges.
Well, the thing is, if you don't give them the data and all the good stuff they want and the manipulation they want, then what good are you?
And that leads me to the next one. So, Mark came out this week with something that's going to end up getting him in deep shit. He came out and said that he regrets the caving to FBI and White House pressure to censor content. And he said that it was particular to COVID-19 posts and the election stuff.
No shit.
But for him to come out and say he believes the government was wrong and that he regrets not doing more to protect free speech, that's not good.
Well,
not good for him.
He'll just go in that $100 million bunker you built not too long ago and chill out.
Right.
And then I believe today, Brazil decided that, or not, maybe it wasn't Brazil. It's one of the South American countries. I think it was either Brazil or Guatemala banned Twitter. Because I think, didn't Elon threaten to fight one of those presidents a few weeks ago or something?
Moron. Yeah.
So I think after threatening violence, they've banned the platform in that country.
I get it in a way, but I mean, we need to bring balance like that back a little bit. You know what I mean? I'll fist fight you, buddy.
I would love to see it happen, because whatever all that was going down, the president of whatever country that was like, I will absolutely fight you. So better to fight it out than to be petty and kick him out of the country.
We had a governor back years ago. He has since passed away, but he's probably the last Republican governor of Mississippi I voted for. And he had a lot of great ideas, but he was getting ready for a debate, and he turns around and they caught him on camera going, "I'm going to kick your ass," to his opponent. And I'm like, hell yeah, say it out loud and proud.
Well, I just, the whole, going back to the Telegram thing for a second, I really do think that is so basically they set a bond for him and told him he can't leave France. I swear, if I was that dude, I'd be out of France so fast. Because I think he's originally he doesn't live in Russia anymore, but I think he's of Russian descent.
Right.
I would go to a country where France couldn't touch me, and I would never go back.
Where is it, dude?
He's going to end up like
or something.
he's going to end up just like Julian Assange.
That's who I was. Yeah, that's who I was thinking about.
And because Julian, basically leaked atrocities against the government, and they were really close to killing him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I think if he doesn't get out of France, they're going to have him in a hole somewhere.
Well, I can see it. People just mysteriously, whoops, we don't know where he's at.
Right. What about did you all want to cover the Seven Sons?
The Seven Sons, and I also want to dip into Chernobyl.
Oh, yeah. That was a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Chernobyl.
The park that has Chernobyl plutonium.
Yep.
It's the Manhattan stuff.
Oh.
Yep.
Well, is this the video that you sent me?
Yeah. That's it.
Seven Sons.
Do we need the audio for this?
No, you shouldn't.
All right.
So basically, a lady in China captured this on camera this week.
They didn't have their shit lined up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we keep talking about the sun simulator. And they're saying that this is an optical illusion. How many optical illusions have you ever seen like that?
Well, that, and they're not the same size. Those two are hugely different in brightness and size.
Yep.
You've got a color difference over there. So how is that an optical illusion?
Yep. This was filmed by a lady in Chengdu, China. She was apparently on top of a hospital building when she noticed this, and they're saying that it's a meteorological phenomenon.
The only reason I think that is some kind of optical illusion, if I'm guessing, is because of this.
Well,
like the cloud cover.
You've seen like the dual sun videos.
Yeah.
Where they're saying that it's like one of them's the simulator that DARPA has, and one of them's the actual sun.
Yeah.
Well, imagine if one of those two broader ones is the simulator. We've established like that's built basically with LED sort of honeycomb pattern.
Yeah.
What if that reflected the other ones?
One sun, ha ha ha. Two suns, ha ha ha.
But there's a Chinese legend about how there was once several suns, by the way, and it was so hot that nothing can grow until a god used a bow and arrow to shoot down all but one sun. That's a Chinese folklore.
Well, there might be something to that.
Yeah, I mean, we keep seeing videos. This is like the 8th video we've seen of multiple suns in the last few months.
Yeah,
yeah, it's wild. I mean, and at this point, like I've went through the flat earth phase. I'm pretty much stuck in the simulation phase at this point. Like I've been hanging out there for a while, and everything that's happening in the world just seems like GTA in a way, like it's insane because everything seems so scripted. It's like it's the worst comedy in the world. Like, I don't know. Even
I don't like stupid comedy.
Oh, since we're talking about the sky, we might as well do the quick how it's going with Boeing.
Yeah.
How's it going with Boeing?
So there were Delta workers killed this week after a Boeing plane's tire unexpectedly exploded. Probably failed quality control, if I was guessing. But NASA has decided to bring the Starliner back without the crew.
Yeah, I mean that's not a smart thing to do.
I'm not getting in that mother.
Yeah, and I saw that you said that earlier, Mike, in the chat. So they're going to continue their work until February 2025 when they're going to catch a ride back with the SpaceX Crew 9 mission.
By the time they get back, they're going to be so atrophied that it's going to be ridiculous.
Yeah.
No, they're going to shrink 3 inches.
That does happen. Like,
I know.
If space is real, people come back different. Like physically, it's weird. Like that one
Yeah.
guy that was a twin that went up there and he came back and he would look different and everything like that.
Like when Matthew McConaughey came back and his daughter was 90.
90, he was
That
still
was
young
cool.
back.
Thank you for the recommendation, guys. Sorry I didn't watch it sooner, but you just should have said the magic word.
Yep, that's one of the greatest movies ever made.
Every movie he's in, he should utter the phrase, all right, all right, all right. like when he's going into that black hole, it'd been dope if he's just floating. He went, all right, all right, all right.
Well, Morgana, do you want to cover the Manhattan stuff?
Yes. So evidently in New Mexico, there is a popular hiking trail called Acid Canyon. Okay, that's going to stop me until I do some research. Why the hell are you calling it Acid Canyon?
Because you go up there and trip balls.
Maybe that's it. But it's in Los Alamos, and the levels there are similar to the empty cities surrounding Chernobyl. The park is nearby the former location of the American government's development and testing grounds for nuclear weapons in the 40s, Manhattan Project. So the professor emeritus at Northern Arizona University, biochemist Michael Ketterer, did a study in July examining the soils and sediments that contain the alarming levels of plutonium. He said he's never seen anything quite like it in the United States. So it's one of the most shocking things he's ever stumbled across. The biochemist's alarming claims have led to an increase in calls for signs to be posted warning hikers of potential radiation exposure. And said, it's just supposedly it's just an extreme example of very high concentrations of plutonium in the soil and sediments. Nature did this. So the contamination found reportedly exceeded the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency safety threshold by over 72%. And
I meant to leave that. I usually take specific stuff out of there.
Yeah, my bad. I started reading before I read all the way through. But, if the EPA knew about it and knew how high it was, then why did somebody just accidentally?
Yeah, this isn't the problem of any specific administration. This is a government problem.
Oh yeah,
because this has been going on since the Manhattan Project.
Yeah, exactly. They just moved it from Los Alamos to somewhere else.
But the DoD earlier this month said that they will be increasing plutonium core production at Los Alamos for nuclear weapons purposes. That's the
sweet.
I thought we had quit doing nuclear. Didn't we all agree a few years back that we were going to stop doing all that stuff?
No, we wasn't going to stop.
They were going to stop.
They were going to stop. Okay.
Weapons of mass destruction. Let's now watch this drive.
Yeah.
That's one of the greatest clips of all time. We're gonna annihilate that country, and we're gonna take everything back. Now watch this drive.
My goodness. I seen a video the other day that said like 2 weeks before we went into that particular war, they found the tomb of Gilgamesh.
Yeah.
Yep.
Not in Los Alamos.
Not in Los Alamos.
No, it's over there in Iraq.
But apparently, like that, right before even the Gulf, like Desert Storm and stuff started.
Yeah.
Right.
They had started finding temples and tombs and uncovering stuff. So
cradle of civilization over there. I mean, that's where one of the tribes started. Was right there. And so I mean, and probably like the biggest one, because I'm under the firm belief that there was multiple areas of cradle of humanity, but that was probably the biggest one. Yeah.
Kandahar Giant.
Yep.
Well, yeah, I think we got time for a short one. I don't know what you want to.
That's what she said. Sorry.
Well, evidently there is a manpower shortage in the Navy.
Oh, yeah.
The Navy is sidelining 17 vessels due to a manpower shortage. said that they're having a lot of trouble properly putting crews and operations on ships across the fleet. There just aren't enough merchant marines to keep all the ships going at once. So, yeah.
What do you think that is?
I
I don't
don't
know. I don't know why anybody
Just
wouldn't want to be
like-
paid an unlivable wage.
Right.
Like
Right. And,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, I always dreamed of growing up and going to war.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, I mean, yeah,
there's a
veterans
lot.
Yeah, it's a good career if you stay in from beginning to end of your career.
Yeah.
Right.
But if you're somebody that goes over there and gets wounded and things like that, coming back isn't really the best
Well,
situation for
and
you.
they keep relaxing rules because their recruitment rates are falling so much.
Yeah.
So I think it's a lot more of a relaxed military than what it used to be. But I think there's still a lot of problems that you hear about, not just monetary problems, but even the way that they're treated before, during, and after wars and everything else like that.
Well, that's my son was in about 15 years ago, and that's when they had just redone all of the physical activity and everything for the Air Force, because his dad used to pick at him about being in the chair force. And when we got there to see him at graduation, the physical activities and stuff they had to pass in order to graduate, they had changed their menus. They could not have bacon. They could not have anything like that. They had turkey bacon, of all things,
No.
And it was totally, because Mo apologized to him. He's like, damn, I wouldn't want to be in the Air Force now.
I would say all the branches, Navy probably has the lowest recruitment rate anyway, because you're stuck on a ship or a submarine mostly.
Yep.
And it's tight quarters. I mean, that's a big to do. I'm not saying it may not be fun, but it's not for everybody.
Well, no, I mean, I wouldn't mind being on a ship, but I wouldn't want all those other damn people there.
Yeah.
I mean, y'all could come and I'd be good, but just that one asshole I don't want to be around being on there would make the whole difference. But they're planning on putting 17 ships into extended maintenance and redistributing the crews to other vessels.
I mean,
I thought it was crazy that they're calling this the Great Reset, by the way.
Huh?
Oh wow.
Yep.
Well, the thing about it too is like they're moving everything more to the robotic side of war and everything. Like,
you should play that. You should play that robotics video. Speaking of robotics, so we've been talking a lot about robotics, and that's a good point. Like maybe they are moving toward the water drones and stuff like that. But so they've started mounting LMGs to smaller drones, like rather than Predators, which is so imagine getting your door kicked in by one of the walking drones.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Like the androids, and then this thing is his guard dog.
Ooh.
So you get your door kicked in, and then this thing's right behind it.
I want one.
It probably cost $100 million to build one of them too. Just ask.
Well,
I bet I can make. I bet I
sure
can
they
make
don't
one
care.
for $40.
I know.
They get plenty of payroll taxes. So
Yes, they do.
that is our tax money hard at work.
I want one of those badly.
I mean, I think we're pretty close probably to having drone armies.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
You could be a stay-at-home warrior for $12 an hour.
I was gonna say you still wouldn't make jack.
Yeah, you could be a stay-at-home killer drone operator for $12 an hour.
But
I mean,
then
I've always kind of thought that Call of Duty was preparing people for that.
What if that was really like Ender's Game? Like you're actually controlling drones somewhere?
What?
yeah.
That's what I thought about Helldivers too. Like, what if they really are set up in space somewhere and you're just controlling drones and killing bugs on another planet?
Well, in that case, I mean, hell, there could be an underground ground pipe system with these brothers saving a princess too.
Yeah.
That's actually really true. I've
But,
heard somebody that
We
came
call
back.
that Hollow Earth.
I heard somebody that came back from the Koopa Wars.
But
But
we what do we got going on?
yeah, what y'all covering tonight on Weird Awakenings?
Tennessee.
The only 10 I see is y'all.
Yeah, Strange Tennessee. It'll be on Weird Realities with a Y. On Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and 10-14 minutes.
10-14 minutes.
10-14 minutes.
It depends on how much we talk before we hit the live button.
Yeah. We're working on some more long form stuff. I know we got. I would love to do that McCamey Manor one closer to Halloween. Like, we got a bunch of stuff on the whole McCamey Manor saga. We'll just have to watch out because he's in jail, so he may not sue us.
That's right.
But,
how's it going on location for live on site?
I actually need one of you. So they're not responding to me on Twitter. There is a Facebook for Souls Chapel, and I'm going to need somebody who has a Facebook to reach out to this group and ask permission for us to investigate there.
Yeah.
Sweet. So yeah, we're working on hopefully at some point in the next couple months we'll be doing a live sort of session on site at a spooky place. And we got some more long form stuff. Obviously, we're here every Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern to bring you crazy news.
Oh yeah.
If you want to support us further, you can buy us a coffee. And any coffee money we get, it just goes towards StreamYard's absurd process to stream. I think that's it.
Sweet. Well, thank you all for watching us because we are watching you.
See you in 10 minutes.